Good morning, dear students. Today in this video, we are going to study a poem that is prescribed in your syllabus, My Last Duchess, written by Robert Browning. As I have told you in our previous video about the introduction of Robert Browning and somewhat a short story of this poem, Robert Browning was born in 1812 and died in 1889. Now on your screen you can see the text of the poem My Last Duchess. So the opening lines are, That's my last duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder. Now Fra Pandolf's hand work busily a day, and there she stands. So in this line you have to take notice that the poet is saying about the Duke of Ferrara, and he is saying, as I have told you in our last video, that this poem is a dramatic monologue, and here the speaker is Duke of Ferrara. Ferrara is a town in Italy, and the emissary means the envoy is the listener. But as in dramatic monologue, only the speaker speaks, and the envoy or the other person only do the work of listening. So, My Last Duchess is a dramatic monologue set in Renaissance Italy and convey the opinion of a wealthy man as he shows a marriage broker, an envoy, a painting of his late wife. So the speaker is showing the painting of his last duchess to the envoy, to the marriage broker, to the emissary, and he is telling him that is the painting on the wall is the painting of my last duchess, my ex-wife, looking as if she were alive. And the painting is so beautiful that it is looking that in the painting it is looking that it is alive, that she were alive means that she had dead now. Here you can notice that he put much emphasis on the word my. So he wanted his wife to concentrate on him alone, and the Duke is extremely possessive. So, possessiveness is a quality that is described in the first line. That's my last duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder. Now, the Duke has many faults, but despite all his faults, he is a great lover of art. He has a portrait gallery in his palace, and he can appreciate the beauty of a work of art. So he calls his wife's portrait a piece of wonder. Now Fra Pandolf's hands work busily a day, and there she stands. And now he is telling the envoy that this painting was made by Fra Pandolf in a very busy day, and the time duration of making this painting is of one day. And there she stands. Mean there is a masterpiece of Fra Pandolf's painting. Now, next lines. Will it please you sit and look at her? I said. Now, the speaker is requesting the envoy to please sit there and look at the painting. I said, Fra Pandolf by design, for never read strangers like you that pictured countenance. Now the speaker is saying that I told you the name of the painter of this painting, Fra Pandolf, deliberately because I know that no strangers like you can ever read the pictured facial expression in this painting, the depth and passion of its earnest glance. But to myself they turned. Now now the Duke of Ferrara is saying that no strangers like you can ever appreciate the pictured countenance, the pictured facial expression in the painting, and no one has ever dared to ask me about the depth and passion of this earnest glance, this earnest facial expression in the painting. Since none puts by the curtain I have drawn for you, Now the speaker is in very arrogant method. He is saying that there is no one in this palace has the authority to draw out the curtain to unveil the painting. He kept the portrait of his wife curtained, and only the Duke had the right to unveil it. He did not allow strangers to observe the deep passion and the earnest glance over his Duchess wife. And seemed as they would ask me if they durst. Now the speaker is saying that no stranger has the dare to ask me about how such a glance came there, to ask me about the glance in the painting of my wife. So not the first are you to turn and ask this, and so you are one of them. You have no right to ask me about the glance, about the facial elegant facial expression in this painting on the face of my wife. Sir, it was not her husband's presence only. Now the speaker is giving the answer himself, and he is telling that, sir, it was not only her husband's presence called that spot of joy into the Duchess' cheek. Means that the passionate smile, the passionate facial expression is caused not only by the presence of her husband, presence of me there, but he is now telling about the qualities, about the vivid picture of a good woman, of a good woman, that is his wife. And now, while speaking of the last Duchess, the Duke tells the envoy as much about himself as about the Duchess. The Duke dwells upon the earnest glance on the Duchess' face and then goes on to describe her nature. He is saying that she was a lady who had a very passionate smile or a very passionate behavior, not only to her husband but also to others. And perhaps Fra Pandolf chanced to say, and perhaps this smile came on his face because I think that Fra Pandolf has said had said her that her mental lapse over my lady's wrist too much. He is saying, he is telling the reason that the facial expression caused in this painting very beautifully may have the reason because as the painter told her wife that her shawl is overlapping her wrist too much, or paint must never hope to reproduce the faint half flush that dies along her throat. Now the poet is saying, the speaker is saying that not only the presence of me had a smile on my wife's face, but if anyone talks her softly, this this has been the reason of beauty, reason of facial expression on her wife. The painter, now the poet is again saying that the painter was unable to paint even half of her beauty that dies along her thought. Such stuff was courtesy. Now he is telling that her lady was was of a very courteous nature, she thought, and cause enough for calling up that spot of joy. And this courtesy has enough reasons to make spot of joy on her face. She had a heart. How shall I say? Now the Duke is saying that I can't tell you what type of heart she has. She has a heart full of jest and generous nature. Her and she was very well. She was a true child of Renaissance period. She was a beauty-loving woman, easily impressed and easily gained. She was only of those lovely women whose kindness and responsiveness are as natural as sunlight. Too soon made glad, too easily impressed. Now the duke is telling about the nature of her last duchess, and he is telling that my last duchess, my lady was has a nature of being too glad at trifles, being too easily impressed. She liked whatever she looked on, and her looks went everywhere. He is telling that she loved to watch the sunset from her terrace. She was a combination of all those graces and qualities which make a woman perfect. She has a fascinating personality and innate charm which her husband failed to appreciate. Now he is telling that, sir, it was all one, my favor at her breast, the drooping of the daylight in the west, the bow of cherries some officious fool broke in the orchard for her, the white mule she rode with round the terrace, all and each would draw from her alike the approving speech or blush at least. Now he is telling that she thanked everyone with her sweet smile, or with gentle words, or with her kind gestures. Her smiles and blushes are ready for everyone. She has a great respect for the beauty of the sky, the glory of nature, and the charm of animals at a higher praiser than her husband's long descent. He tells that she was naturally kind and responsive. She like the trifle things, like the bow of cherries gifted to her by some officious fool, and the sunlight, the daylight in the west. She liked all these things very much. And the animals, like the white mule she rode with the round the terrace, all and each would draw from her alike the approving speech. Means all these trifle things has a very perfect impression on her heart, and she would blush at least. She was a very responsive lady, and she responds everyone with her natural smile. She regarded anybody's gift equal to the Duke's gift. It shows her sense of equality and her love to humanity. It was impossible to portray the full fledged beauty of the Duchess. She was absolutely beautiful and astonishingly pretty. So, by mentioning the Duchess' qualities, he is also describing him he is also describing a vivid picture of that good woman in these lines. So that's for that's enough for today, and you are suggested to analyze the lines here and to listen the video very carefully. Thank you very much all. In our next video we will explain the half remaining part of this poem. Thank you very much.